Today I have discussed measurement of capacitance using AC bridge. In video lecture of AC bridge part 1 and part 2, we have already discussed how the self inductance is measured using AC bridge, and there is a 5 method for the measurement of self inductance. In the last two videos, there Maxwell's inductance bridge, Maxwell's inductance capacitance bridge, Hay bridge, Anderson bridge, and On bridge, and all of have some their advantage and disadvantage and application for the measurement of self inductance. Now, today we discuss the measurement of capacitance. So, for the measurement of capacitance, there is a two bridge. First is de-Sauty bridge and another is Shearing bridge. So one by one we discuss how the AC bridge is useful for the measurement of capacitance of any capacitor. The first one is a de-Sauty bridge. This is the bridge diagram for the measurement of capacitance using de-Sauty bridge. Suppose C1 is the unknown capacitance that you have to measure, and there is a variable capacitance C2, and R3 is the standard resistance, and R4 is the standard resistance, and there is a one galvanometer connected between the point B and point D. When the bridge is balanced, then there is no current across this galvanometer, or it is also called a detector. So according to the standard AC bridge expression, Z1, first we have to find out the impedance of each arm. Suppose Z1 arm is equal to 1 by J omega C1, Z2 arm 1 by J omega C2, and Z3 is equal to R3, and Z4 is equal to R4. So at a balance condition, that means when the balance, when Z1 into Z2 is equal to Z2 into Z3. So by putting the value of Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4, we are getting the value C1 is equal to R4 by R3 into C2. But this method is only applicable when the C1 and C2 are lossless capacitor. That means lossless capacitor means there is no internal resistance, and it is only for only applicable for the air core capacitor. So practically this method is not applicable for the capacitor having a different type of dielectric material, because in case of dielectric material, each capacitor have their some internal resistance. So this simple method is applicable only for the measurement of lossless capacitor or for air core capacitor. The phasor diagram discussed here, because at the balance condition, voltage drop across R3 and voltage drop across R4 are same, and voltage drop across R3 is equal to E3 is equal to I1 into R3, and E4 is equal to I2 into R4. So at balance condition, E3 is equal to E4. Then you can say that the I1 and I2 are in the same phase. So we have first draw the I1. So if I1 in this phase, then the voltage drop across branch 1, is equal to I1 into 1 by J omega C. So voltage drop across voltage drop across branch 1 is lagging 90 degree by lagging 90 degree with the phase I1. So E1 is equal to I1 by J omega C1, and at a balance condition, E1 is equal to E2 for no current flowing through the galvanometer. So again E1 is equal to E2, and E2 is equal to I2 by J omega C. So again E1 plus E3, and E3 is equal to I3 into I3, I1 into R3, and E4 is equal to I2 into R4. So if you add them, then E1 plus E3, that means E1 plus E3 is equal to total applied voltage. Then E1 plus E3 is equal to total applied voltage. That is the equivalent phasor diagram. But this method is only useful for the measurement of lossless capacitor or air core capacitor. So now for the capacitor having dielectric or having their internal resistance, so de Sauty bridge is modified. So now the modified de Sauty bridge, suppose this is the capacitor that you have to be measured, and their internal lossless component internal resistance R1 that represent the losses across the dielectric, and there is one resistance connected in series with the unknown capacitor. Again C2 having a standard resistance C2 with their internal resistance R2, and another resistance R2 in connected in series with the C2, and R3 and R4 are standard resistance across arm 3 and arm 4. So now C1 is unknown capacitance having internal resistance R1, and R1 is a standard resistance, R2, R3, R4 are the standard resistance, and C2 is a standard resistance having internal resistance R2. So then we have to first find out the different impedance. So impedance across branch R1, branch 1 R1 plus small r1 by 1 by j omega C1, and Z2 is equal to R2 plus small r2 plus 1 by j omega 2, and R3 is equal to Z3 is equal to R3, and Z4 is equal to R4. So again at the balance condition, Z1 into Z4 is equal to Z2 into Z3. By putting those value, putting the value of Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4, we are getting the equation in this way. So by solving the two equation, we are getting a balance equation, that is C1 by C2 is equal to R2 plus small r2 by R1 plus R1 is equal to R4 by R3. The balance may be obtained by variation resistance R1, R2, R3, R4. The phasor diagram, again we have to discuss the phasor diagram, how the phasor diagram draw for the modified de Sauty bridge. So we have first we have to write down the, so again voltage drop across R3, voltage drop across R3 and voltage drop across R4 are same, because at balance condition E3 is equal to E4. So again I1 and I2 are in the same phase, so we have to first draw the I1 and I2. Next we have to draw the voltage across arm 1, means E1. So E1 have, suppose this is the voltage drop due to internal resistance I1 into R1. Again the voltage drop across the capacitor is lagged by 90 degree. So we have to the voltage drop across capacitor is equal to I1 by j omega c, that is lagged by 90 degree, and the phasor sum of I1 into R1 plus I1 by omega c1 is equal to voltage drop across capacitor C1, it indicated by EC1, that you have to indicate the voltage drop across capacitor C1 indicated by EC1. Again for the capacitor C2, again suppose this is the voltage drop across internal resistance I1 into R2, and again a voltage drop across capacitor C2 is equal to I2 by j omega c, and summation of I1 R2 plus I2 by omega c2 is equal to EC2. That means the voltage drop across capacitor. Again the E1 is equal to voltage drop across capacitor C1 plus I1 into R1. So I1 into R1 plus EC1 indicates E1 is equal to E1, and again EC2 plus EC2 plus I2 into R2 is equal to E2. So I2 into R2 plus EC2 is equal to E2, and E1 and E2 are equal. Again, so you know the E1 is plus E1 plus E2 is equal to total applied voltage. So E1 plus E3 is equal to total applied voltage. In this way, we have drawn the phasor diagram of modified de Sauty bridge. Next, we have to go through the dissipation factor of capacitor. So dissipation factor D1 of capacitor C1 is equal to 10 delta 1 is the dissipation factor angle is called delta 1, indicated by dissipation factor is equal to 10 delta 1, it is equal to omega C1 into R1, and dissipation factor for the capacitor C2 is equal to 10 del 2, that is equal to omega C2 into R2. So from the last expression, balance equation, C1 by C2 is equal to R2 plus small r2 by capital R1 plus small r1. So if you cross multiply and multiplied with the omega, then omega C2 into R2 minus omega C1 into R1 is equal to omega capital C1 into R1 minus C2 into R2. So omega C2 into R2 is the dissipation factor of capacitor C2, and omega C1 into R1 is a dissipation factor of the capacitor C1. So in this way, we have to obtain the derivation for the dissipation factor. That means if you know the dissipation factor of the standard resistance, then you can measure the dissipation factor of unknown resistance in terms of dissipation factor C2 of capacitor C2. So this method does not give the accurate real for the dissipation factor, because its value depends on the different quantity of R2, R1, R3 and the difference between the D1 and D2. So next, so in this way, using modified de Sauty bridge, you can measure the standard capacitance having internal resistance R1 and dissipation factor of the particular capacitance. Next, a sharing bridge. So sharing bridge, using sharing bridge you can also measure the capacitance of unknown capacitor. Suppose C1 is the capacitance that you have to measure having internal resistance R1, and there is a standard lossless capacitor. You have put a lossless capacitor, mean air core capacitor C2, that means their internal resistance is 0 R3, and there is two parallel resistance capacitor and parallelly connected there is a variable resistance R4. So we have discussed the phasor diagram. Suppose this is the I1 line. So voltage drop across C1, that means I1 by j omega C, which is lagging by 90 degree with the I1, and voltage drop across I1 into R1. Suppose this is a voltage drop across I1 into R1. So the phasor sum of I1 plus I1 R1 plus I1 by j omega C indicates the E1, and E1 and E2 are same. So in this way, E2 is equal to, E2 is equal to I2 by j omega C2. So if the E2 are in the line, then I2 must be lead by 90 degree. So I2 is there, and again for the balance condition, I2 is divided into two parts, IC and IR. So IR are in the IR in the same phase with the I1. IR plus IC is equal to E2, and IC is lead by the 90 degree with the IR, and the phasor sum of IC plus IR is equal to I2. And suppose I3 is equal to R3 into I1, and that is equal to IC by omega C4, or is equal to I4 into C4. That means voltage drop across R3 must be equal to voltage drop across either capacitor or voltage drop across variable resistance. So in this way, E3, so there is a phasors E3 and E1. So phasor sum of E3 plus E1 is equal to is the total applied voltage E. So now we have to obtain, we have to find out the balance condition for the sharing bridge. So first we have to measure the impedance of each arm. So suppose Z1 arm have impedance I1 plus 1 by j omega C1, Z2 is equal to 1 by j omega C2, Z3 is equal to R3 and Z4 is equal to R4 by 1 plus j omega C4 and R4 because C4 and R4 are in parallel. So at balance condition, Z1 into Z4 must be equal to Z2 into Z4 by putting the value of Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4. So we are getting the balance equation now. So now you have to represent in the complex form and equating the real part and imaginary part of the left hand side and right hand side. Then you are getting the internal resistance of capacitor C1, that means R1 is equal to R4 into C4 by C2 and unknown capacitance C1 is equal to C2 into R4 by R3. So those two equations are independent to each other. That means if you vary, if you compare the equation with the standard equation, if you vary the C4, then you get the at balance condition, then you get the value of R1. If you vary the value standard resistance R4, then you getting the value of C1. So those two equations are independent. If you choose C1 and R4 are variable element. So dissipation factor is equal to, if you put the dissipation factor, this is equal to omega into C4 into R4. It depends on the value of R standard capacitor C4 and standard resistance R4. So in this way we can measure the dissipation factor, and the advantage of sharing bridge is that the expression of R1 and C1 are independent to each other. That means R1 you get by the varying the C4 and C1 is getting by varying the R4. So it is also useful for the measurement of high voltage capacitor, mainly useful for the high voltage in the high voltage circuits. So sharing bridge is used for the capacitance having a very high in the high voltage circuit. So the modified sharing bridge used for the high voltage. So high voltage sharing bridge is mainly used for the measurement of property of insulator, capacitor bushing, insulating oil and other insulating material. So for the measurement of capacitance between the insulator. The special features of high voltage arm, because C1 and C2 are the resistance and C1 have a very high voltage, so C1 and C2 have a high voltage arm, and R3 and means the arm 3 and arm 4 are low voltage terminals. So you have to shield it so that there is no interaction between, there is no leakage current between the arm 1 and arm 2. So we are putting, there is a shielding the branch so that there is no earth screen are provided in order to avoid error caused by the intercapacitance between high arms and low arms. And the circuit diagram are same. There is, you apply the source voltage by step up using the step up transformer. The high voltage applied between the circuit and is useful for the measurement of high voltage capacitor, and it is mainly a application for the in the high voltage circuits. So for the measurement of capacitance we have two type of bridge, dissociative bridge and sharing bridge. So using Dissauty bridge and sharing bridge, we can measure a capacitance of having different value of dissipation factor. So in this way, the AC bridge is useful for the measurement of capacitance. Thank you.